All right. Hello again. I wanted to make a quick short video kind of explaining the sport and how like the leagues work, how all the teams work and everything. So it's be like a quick one. Um so the main thing, I guess, to focus on if you're like a beginner kind of being introduced to the sport is there's five main leagues that you should know about. England, Spain, Italy, Germany, France. They're the five ones that you should probably know of. The English league is called the Premier League or the Premiership. In Spain, it's La Liga. In Serie A, or in Italy, it's Serie A. In Germany, it's the Bundesliga, and then in France, it's Ligue 1 or League One. So here I have the Premier League table from last season kind of pulled up. How it works is there's 20 teams, and each one of these leagues has 20 teams barring the German league. It has 18, and each team will play each other twice, one at home and one at away. So that's why you can see there's 38 matches played by each team. A win is 3 points in the league, a draw is 1 point, and a loss is 0 points. So here you can see like win, draw, loss. This is the goal difference. So this is like Liverpool scored 86 goals and conceded 41. That's their goal difference. And then obviously their points. And basically, the most points obviously wins the league. And then the least amount gets relegated. So let's talk about relegation first. So you can see these bottom three teams, the bottom three teams that finish in each league get relegated to the second division. So each one of these top five countries doesn't just have one like flagship league. Like obviously that's the top league, but they also have leagues underneath. So underneath the Premier League is the EFL Championship. So with the championship, it's the same sort of setup. I think there's more teams though. I think there's 24 teams, and obviously they each play each other twice. But the top, basically, what you need to know is the top three teams from the championship get promoted up to the Premier League, and the bottom three teams, in this case Leicester, Ipswich, and Southampton, get relegated to back to the championship. So that's how the leagues keep refreshing and all that. Um, that's just a quick little breakdown of the leagues. And now um, that's the leagues. Let's talk about cup competitions. So every country, just like they have a league, they also have cup competitions. So this basically helps integrate those teams from lower divisions, and they can play like obviously anybody. Like a team from like the third division in England can play a team from the first division or the Premier League from in England. So England has two of these cup competitions. They have the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. Spain have the Copa del Rey and Supercopa España. Italy have Coppa Italia and Supercoppa d'Italia. Germany have the DFB Pokal, and France have the Coupe de France. So this is how each of those works. So the FA Cup is just a massive knockout system. It goes all the way from like round of 64 to like 32 to 16 to 8 to 4, and then obviously the final. And this spans the whole season as well. Um, the same is with the Copa del Rey in Spain. The same is with the Coppa Italia in Italy. The same is with the Pokal in Germany. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's the same with the Coupe de France in the French league. The Carabao Cup in England is also another cup competition that's kind of structured in the same way. It's a knockout thing, but um, it helps integrate the lower divisions more. You don't really need to know the details of these two. Just know that they both exist, and they're both they both happen simultaneously with the league. League games are played pretty much every weekend, like Saturdays and Sundays. Will be like the big league games, and then midweek are the cup competitions. Um, so yeah, that's a breakdown of them. The Supercopas, both España and Italia, are a bit different. So the Supercopa de España, basically what it is, it's a four-team kind of knockout tournament that's played in January now. It's played in January for Spain, and it's played usually in like Saudi Arabia. It takes the top two teams from the league and the top two teams from the cup. So the two finalists from the cup and the one and two of the league, and they're all put in like a bracket, and then it's semifinals and final. And the Supercoppa d'Italia is just the winners of the league in Spain, in Italy, and the winners of the cup in Italy. So the Coppa Italia winners and the league winners. Say Real Madrid. win the Spanish league, but they also win the Copa del Rey, then they'll just go like one down in each section. So if say Barcelona versus Real Madrid in the final of the Copa del Rey, both them will go in. But say Real Madrid finished one and Barcelona finished like three in the league. Real Madrid, it'll go down to whoever finished second place, and then they'll also pull fourth place. So that's kind if that makes sense. That's how that works. Um, that's the Copa de España, and the same case with like the Supercopa de Italia. So it's a quick, breakdown of the leagues and the cups. I would suggest FootMob is probably the best app to kind of follow all this. It kind of makes this is more of like conceptual, just so it makes sense in your head. But then you can follow all the games on FootMob and see like the structure of the schedules and everything. And now let's talk about the European cups. So in addition with the each country has their league and each country has their cup competition. That's like exclusive to just their country. Um, but there's also UEFA have like a European cup or European competitions. So as you can see here, there's like five teams here that are in green. Basically, to summarize, to not get too like into it or make it too complex, this again was where FootMob can come into play. And when it's happening live, you'll kind of see how the teams are selected. But in essence, out of all the countries in Europe, the top four teams in each league, it's usually top four in the it's always top four or more in the top five leagues. But then say like the smaller leagues, it may be top two, and like some of the mid leagues like Croatian League and all that might be top three. Um, they're all put into a big competition all together, which is what the Champions League is. Under the Champions League, there's the Europa League, and under the Europa League, there's a Conference League. It's the same structure. It's just like, say in the Europa League, in the Europa League's case, it's like Aston Villa. They finished sixth over here. They just finished out like the top four slash top five, so they go into Europa League. Nottingham Forest finished seventh, so they get qualified to the Conference League. So that's how qualification works, and it also has some stipulations like who wins the cups, who wins like the Super Copas and all that. And sometimes um, maybe there'll be five teams that get to go to the Champions League from Premier League because they've just been like a more dominant league. That's how the kind of stipulations work. But I'm going to try to keep it simple. So that's how the Champions League qualification works, and how the Champions League is set up is now. If I just pull it up, you can look at the standings here. It's one massive. I'll go to last season as well. It's one massive table, like same structure as any leagues. So it's 36 teams. Each team will play 8 games, and their 8 opponents are randomly selected, and they'll play 4 home games and 4 away games. And again, a win is 3 points, a draw is 1 point, and a loss is 0 points. And it's set up in this league format. The top 8 teams get instantly qualified to a knockout round. And then from 9 to 24, they also get qualified to the knockout round, but they play like a playoff round first. So imagine it's like these 8 teams instantly go to like the round of 16, and then the rest of the teams they compete against each other. And then they also go to the round. Whoever wins, like they go to the round of 16. And then from there, it's just like round of 16, round of eight, semifinals, and then final. But the difference with this is that each knockout game is 2 legs. So say I hope I can find it like over here. No, okay. So say like Liverpool, they finished first, so they instantly go to the round of 16. They played PSG, who, or let's just keep it really simple. Say Liverpool and then Arsenal. They're playing each other in the round of 16. They'll play one game at Arsenal at their home stadium and then one game at PSG's home stadium. And then the aggregate score of that will be who goes through. So say PSG or Liverpool win the first game um 2-0, and then Arsenal win the second game 1-0. So it's 2-1 on aggregate to Liverpool, and then Liverpool will go through to the quarterfinals. And that's how it works all the way to the final. And then the final is just a one-off. And it's the same structure for the Europa League and the same structure for the Conference League. It's just teams are like, lesser quality. So hopefully that all made sense. That's like a quick breakdown of everything. Again, like I would suggest, if you want to keep up with the sport and everything, FootMob's like a great app to keep up with everything. You'll see all the matches, all the new news. You have all the leagues over here. We can see like who's playing today, top transfers and all that. Like we can go to like I think the season's gonna start like, this weekend. If we go to like Sunday, we can see like, okay, the Premier League, it's, started. They're playing Spain, they've started France. These are the games that are playing, the times and all that. So it's a good way to keep up with it and good way to know, um, get in the know of the sport. I guess the notable teams are all the teams I've like kind of been talking about in my videos and all that, but it's usually like the top teams. Like last season, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, they were really good. Newcastle, Aston Villa, really good. And then in like La Liga, it was Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. In um Italy, it's Inter Milan, AC Milan. They weren't that good last season, but they're still a really good team. AC Milan, Atalanta, Juventus, Napoli, they're good teams. In Germany, it's Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen, Dortmund, and then in France, it's PSG. And then I'll explain like just a little like on things that just like are known in the sport but aren't like really like they're not unwritten rules, but like basically the Premier League is known as like the best league, most competitive league. La Liga is also known as like it's known as like the second best, but they have the two best teams in the world in Barcelona and Real Madrid. Serie A is a very like defensively, like tactically driven league. But lesser quality of players. Bundesliga and Ligue 1 are known as like farmers leagues because Bayern Munich and PSG respectively dominate those leagues. So I guess those are some things you can know. But yeah, and then last thing I'll say is just the Super Cup over here. Basically, what this is, it's like a season kickoff game where the winner of the Champions League plays the winner of the Europa League. In like a one-off game to start the season off. Last season, it was Real Madrid who won the Champions League, played Atalanta who won the Europa League, and Real Madrid won 2-0, and that kind of kicked off the season, and then, you just go from there. Additionally, like just a miscellaneous competition, England also has this like sort of like season opener type of game called the Community Shield. It's basically like a game for charity where like I think the winners of the Premier League play the winners of the FA Cup, and then it's just another like one-off game for charity to kind of kick off the season. But yeah, hopefully that all made sense. This is like, a good comprehensive summary of everything that you need to know to get into the sport, and I endorse FootMob like heavily. But yeah, thanks for watching.